The voice was desperate, breaking through the cold silence of the night. A single father, exhausted from a day of working 2 jobs just to keep food on the table, had been walking across the bridge, pushing an old stroller with his sleeping daughter inside. He didn't expect to see a young woman standing on the edge of the railing, her arms trembling, her face streaked with tears. In that moment his life, already heavy with struggles, collided with hers in a way neither of them could have imagined. Daniel was only 32, but the weight of the world sat on his shoulders. His wife had left 2 years ago, unable to handle the endless bills, the empty fridge, and the crying baby who now depended only on him. Since then, Daniel had learned to live on coffee, skipped meals so his daughter Lily could eat, and stitched his work boots more times than he could count. Every night, after tucking Lily into bed, he would sit alone, wondering if he was enough, if he could truly give her the life she deserved. That evening, Daniel's boss had kept him late. His body ached, his eyes stung, but Lily needed milk, and the corner store was on the other side of the bridge. He whispered softly to her as she slept in the stroller, telling her daddy was trying, that everything would be okay, even if he wasn't sure he believed it himself. Then he saw her, a girl no older than 20, gripping the railing as if it were the only thing tethering her to this world. The river below was black and merciless. Her shoulders shook as she took a step closer to the edge. Daniel froze, his breath caught. He had been lost in his own despair so many nights, but he had never stood this close to surrendering. "Don't jump," he said again, louder this time. His voice cracked, not with authority, but with the raw ache of someone who understood pain. The girl startled, glancing at him with wide, red eyes. "Go away," she whispered. "You don't know what it's like." Daniel's chest tightened. He wanted to say he didn't know, but he did. He knew the suffocating weight of hopelessness, the nights when the walls closed in, the mornings when getting out of bed felt impossible. He stepped closer, his hands raised. "I don't know everything about you," he admitted, "but I know what it's like to feel like the world doesn't care. I know what it's like to want the pain to stop. But if you let go now, you'll never know what could come tomorrow." The girl shook her head, sobbing harder. "Tomorrow doesn't matter. Nobody would even notice if I was gone." At that moment, a small voice stirred from the stroller. Lily, rubbing her tiny fists against her sleepy eyes, blinked at the girl and said in her innocent lisp, "Don't cry, lady." The girl's body froze. Tears spilled faster down her cheeks as she looked at the little child. For the first time, her grip on the railing loosened. Daniel seized the chance. Slowly, carefully, he reached out and wrapped his hand around her wrist. She didn't fight. She just collapsed into his arms, sobbing so hard it shook them both. He pulled her down onto the sidewalk, holding her as if she were his own. Lily reached out her little hand and patted the girl's cheek, whispering, "It's okay. Daddy makes things better." And something inside the girl broke and healed at the same time. Her name was Emily. She had aged out of foster care just months before, carrying nothing but a trash bag of clothes and a string of rejections from every job she'd applied to. She had no family, no money, no place to call home. Nights were spent sleeping in shelters, days walking aimlessly with no destination. Every door she knocked on had slammed shut until tonight, when she decided there was no reason to knock anymore. Daniel listened, really listened, and for the first time in years, Emily felt like someone saw her. He didn't offer empty promises. He didn't tell her life would magically get better. He simply said, "You don't have to go through this alone anymore." The days that followed weren't easy. Daniel didn't have much, just a one-bedroom apartment with peeling paint, a fridge that was often half empty, and more bills than money. But he had heart, and he shared it with Emily. He let her sleep on the couch. He showed her where the food pantry was. He encouraged her to apply again, this time helping her write summaries at the kitchen table while Lily colored beside them. Slowly, Emily began to rebuild. She got a part-time job at a cafe. She started saving every penny. And every night when she came back to the little apartment, Lily would run to her with arms wide open, calling, "Emmy," as if she had always been part of the family. Daniel realized something too. Saving Emily that night had, in a way, saved him. For so long, he had been drowning in the feeling of not being enough. But now, he saw how much difference just showing up could make. To his daughter, to Emily, to himself. Months later, Emily stood on that same bridge, not to jump but to look out at the water with peace instead of pain. Daniel stood beside her, Lily perched on his shoulders, giggling at the sunset. "You were wrong that night," Daniel said gently. Emily glanced at him. "About what?" "That nobody would notice if you were gone. We would have noticed. My daughter would have grown up without her Emmy, and I would have lost the reminder that sometimes, even in the darkest moment, we can be the light for someone else." Emily's eyes filled with tears, but this time they were different, not from despair, but from gratitude. She reached out, squeezing Daniel's hand. Together, the struggling single dad, the abandoned girl, and the little child who whispered hope formed something stronger than blood. A family born not from perfect circumstances, but from brokenness that chose not to give up. And maybe that was the message life had been trying to teach all along, that sometimes the ones who are hurting the most are the ones destined to heal each other. Because when you pull someone back from the edge, you often find yourself saved too.